I married him with hope. I believed love would grow between us, that our shared moments would weave us closer. Our wedding day was bright, filled with laughter and promises. Friends and family celebrated around us, smiling, wishing us happiness. I looked into his eyes, expecting warmth, devotion, and a life shared equally. Yet, behind his polite smiles, something remained hidden, a shadow I could not name. The first months were quiet but uneasy. At home, he seemed present, but his attention drifted. He smiled at my words, nodded at my plans, yet I sensed distance. Nights were long, filled with silence where conversation should have been. I tried to speak, to ask questions gently, hoping for honesty, but he always turned away, or changed the subject, or offered a polite excuse. I wanted to believe he was tired, stressed, adjusting to marriage. But deep down, a persistent unease gnawed at me. I discovered old messages one evening. A name appeared repeatedly in his phone. Someone from his past. Curiosity became anxiety, and anxiety became fear. I wanted to confront him, but words caught in my throat. I watched him carefully, hoping to find reassurance, hoping he would reassure me himself. Instead, the distance only widened. His smiles no longer reached his eyes. His laughter, once easy, now felt rehearsed. I realized then that his heart was not here, not with me, despite the vows he had spoken. Days blended into weeks. I tried to fill the emptiness with small gestures, cooking his favorite meals, leaving notes of affection, planning short trips. He appreciated them, but the gratitude lacked warmth. His presence was mechanical, courteous, like a guest living under the same roof, rather than a partner sharing a life. I wanted intimacy, conversation, closeness. Each request felt heavy, each refusal lighter than a whisper. Family gatherings became unbearable. Everyone praised us, assumed our happiness, while I forced a smile. He engaged with others, laughed, made jokes. But I saw glimpses of someone else in his mind. Nights alone magnified the truth. I stared at the ceiling, questioning myself. Was I too sensitive? Too demanding? Perhaps I misunderstood his behavior. I replayed every interaction, every conversation, searching for signs I had overlooked. One evening I confronted him directly. I spoke without accusation, stating my feelings, my fears, my need for transparency. He avoided my gaze, fiddled with his hands, murmured vague reassurances. Nothing concrete emerged. I realized then that he had mastered the art of polite evasion. His love existed somewhere in memory, in nostalgia, in a chapter of his life he refused to close. I sought advice from friends. They listened, offered comfort, tried to understand. Some suggested patience, others warned me of wasted years. I oscillated between hope and despair, clinging to memories of our wedding, our initial promises. Yet, the truth was undeniable. Marriage is not measured by vows alone, but by shared presence, shared heart, and he gave me only the shell of a partner. Months passed. I observed patterns, subtle and cruel. He would talk about future plans but never include me genuinely. Decisions were made quietly, almost automatically, as if my input was optional. When I suggested changes, he agreed superficially but proceeded with his own agenda. I felt invisible in my own life, a guest in a home that should have been ours together. One night, I found photographs from years before. Smiles, vacations, memories captured with someone else. His past clung to him visibly, almost defiantly. I held the photos, feeling betrayal without words. I loved him fully, yet he remained tethered to a world I could never enter. He had married me, but he had not left her behind. He had chosen comfort, not commitment. I tried to salvage affection, creating spaces for connection. I invited him to walks, quiet dinners, conversations by candlelight. Sometimes, for fleeting moments, he responded, laughter soft, eyes attentive. But these moments faded quickly, replaced by indifference and emotional absence. I recognized the pattern. My hope would surface, only to crash against the reality of his divided heart. Friends noticed my distress. They offered support, a shoulder to cry on, advice to act. I resisted, clinging to the idea that love could shift, that devotion could awaken. I told myself he married me for reasons beyond memory, for future, for companionship. Yet every unshared glance, every unspoken desire reminded me that his heart belonged elsewhere. I began to change. I stopped seeking validation from him. I stopped expecting warmth where none existed. I discovered solace in books, walks alone, quiet reflections. The world outside marriage offered freedom, clarity, and a sense of self I had ignored. I realized that my love for him could not force his love to return. Affection cannot be manufactured. Devotion cannot be borrowed. Acceptance arrived slowly. It was not dramatic or liberating at first. Only a quiet understanding that some hearts remain inaccessible, even in union. I learned to live alongside absence, to cherish my own presence. He continued his life, polite and distant, unaware that I no longer sought his approval. I found strength in solitude, courage in clarity, and peace in self-reliance. Eventually, I confronted the inevitability. Conversations led to acknowledgement, not confrontation. He admitted, vaguely, that feelings lingered elsewhere, that his heart had not shifted. I felt grief, disappointment, and a strange relief. The truth, though painful, freed me from illusion. I no longer carried the weight of unreturned love, no longer tried to mend what was never mine to shape. I moved forward, slowly, deliberately. Friendships deepened, personal goals gained focus. I pursued passions abandoned for years, embracing creativity, learning, travel. My world, once defined by another's absence, expanded through my own choices.